the approval monster. Listen up, because this monster is behind a core battle that too many of us go through. I'd be so bold as to say that everybody goes through it at some point. That battle is the will and want for approval. For most of us, this battle begins very early in life, when everything still revolves around what your parents think. When you do something they think is good, your mom and dad says, yes, good for you, nice job, I'm proud of you. And if you do something bad, well, they might get mad and start yelling, saying, no, bad, that's wrong. Don't you ever let me catch you doing that again. From the time we take our first steps, we're getting positive and negative feedback that shapes us into who others want us to be. As a child, all you want is to stay on the positive side, to get that loving affirmation. Partly because if you're a pain in the ass, your parents don't want you around, well, where are you going to sleep? Who's going to keep you fed? Who's going to make sure you're safe and taken care of? So trying to please them is smart strategy. But while you're in this vulnerable development phase, what happens if your parents give you more negative feedback than positive? Or no feedback at all? What happens if you have some experience at home or at school where you walk away with the message that people don't like you? Well, that can create a problem. Instead of thinking you did something wrong or stupid, that might have just been an innocent mistake. You may start believing that you are wrong or stupid. That at your core, you're just not good enough. You're a bad person. You're fucked up and you're not okay as you are. It sets you up to constantly feel like you're at a deficit. So as you grow up, you're stuck living for other people's approval and constantly seeking reassurance. And that's when the approval monster sinks its claws into your mind. It turns that natural need to ensure other people like you into a chronic disease. Make you live for pats on the back and positive attention. Waiting for people to give you compliments or tell you, good job. As long as you need that, the approval monster will make you do things that aren't in your best interest and stop you from doing what is. Why? Well, because like all these other monsters, its main priority isn't your happiness. All the approval monster wants is to be liked. It wants other people to look at everything you do and love it and shower it with praise. And each of your approval monsters will go to different lengths to get that. It might even get you in trouble or put you directly in harm's way. Think about being a kid in school. How much dumb shit you do because the approval monster made you want to look cool and get other people's attention. Somebody says, hey, let's boost this car. Let's take these drugs. Let's pull this stunt or bully this kid. Deep down, you know it's not right. But something comes over you and you might do it anyway. We all get presented with so many things that aren't good for us. And if we desperately want the approval of the group, we might go against our morals. And if we disapprove of something other people are doing, well, we might not stand for what's right. Instead, we choose to be silent bystanders because it's safer that way. Later in life, the approval monster only gets enabled even more because chasing approval is baked into adulthood. It might be what determines the way you dress, what jobs you go after, what you post on social media, where you live, and the whole lifestyle you're living. We spend so much of our lives worrying about whether we will or won't get approval. Think how many of us have experienced this right here. You confide in people about a dream, a want, or a purchase that you're going to make. And in that conversation, people are going, oh man, wait, that's great. That's dope. Good for you. And you say, yeah, it is. Thank you. Then you finally do or get the thing that you were talking about. You might go back and show it off so you can get some praise. It's just the way most of us are conditioned. When we buy a new car, most people make a big announcement of it for the attention it draws. When they show it with the car, people celebrate them. Oh my God, are you serious? You did it. I love it, man. This is great. Good for you. Good for you. Whereas some people can get a car and you never know it until one day you see them driving it. Because they didn't feel the need to tell everybody about it. Some do, some don't. But for many, there's a high level of commitment to this behavior that we've been conditioned to do from the ground up. You know what's really messed up? Is that when we take that approval that we just got and go show it off to others, hoping they'll approve of that initial approval, we double dip. Is that not crazy? Somebody already praised you. But the approval monster is so starved, so desperate, that it makes you carry this praise around town like a trophy, looking to get acknowledged for already having gotten acknowledgement. You see this all the time with engagement rings. When a woman gets engaged, on some level, well, she just received a profound sign of her man's approval. Then a lot of women, they might go right to their girlfriends and show the ring off. Everybody gets all excited and pours out compliments. More approval. Then she goes back to her man and she talks about that approval. So he might approve of the ladies approving. Shit, he might even get a hit of approval himself for making the right purchase. Now, don't get me wrong, it's great to be excited. It's amazing to have other people invested in your success and milestones. But at what point does it become the driving force behind what you do? Are you doing it for you? Are you doing it for others? Can you be excited for yourself, or do you need others to be excited first? If that woman shows the ring to her friends and they say, "Oh, I hate that ring," does that take away from the moment? Is her excitement now lesser than it was? Or if she shows the ring and they say, "Oh my God, girl, look at that ring. I love that ring," does that make the fiance a better man? The approval received by showing the ring is for what? The approval for showing your car is what? Or your new house, your new shoes, or the work you did. What is it for? And the bigger question is, what happens if you don't get it? If you're an employee, you might look for your boss and say, "Hey, good work. We couldn't have done it without you. We appreciate you. I just want to say we love having you here. We want to hear talk about your value in the company and acknowledge what you do." Those words of encouragement are good. They're received. But if you get to a point or a place where you're dependent on that, when you don't get that, how does that make you feel? Do you then doubt or discredit the job that you're doing because nobody's acknowledging it? Do you then say, "Fuck, man, I'm busting my ass and nobody's realizing it, and it's making me not want to bust my ass"? When is doing the job good enough for you? Meanwhile, maybe they're already giving you signs by keeping you on and offering more opportunities. There might be bonuses that come around or promotions. These are all signs of approval. Why do they have to verbally say "good job" for you to feel like you're actually doing a good job? And if you don't hear it, that causes you to question everything. That's a problem. If millions of people listen to this and Audible never calls to congratulate me, but they keep offering me opportunities to do more, I'm cool with that. If I get pissed at Audible for not respecting me or some story like that, well, I've got a problem. That's a problem because I'm holding on to the words and not the actions. I'm getting attached to the verbal component we're all conditioned to want. And this attachment becomes a problem for everyone in your life, from your boss to your partner, because that means it's hard for them to give feedback. A person might quit or shut down because their approval monster can't take constructive criticism. They take it personally. If they can't take feedback, well, they're never going to learn or improve at anything in life. Because you learn from the moments when you're not doing something perfectly and someone points out how you could do it better. I can hear some of you making a counter argument right now. You're hearing all this and going, "I don't need approval, Kevin. I don't give a fuck about what people think. I don't need anybody to tell me I did a good job." All right, maybe. But there are many ways to be controlled by approval. It doesn't need to be verbal. It might not be a person you're looking to for signs that you're enough. It can all be the external signs of how larger situations are going, like your financial or dating life. Is your bank account increasing? Are you getting the best grades or winning at what you compete in? Are you getting more dates than rejections? Is the answer yes? You're high. If it's not, you're low. Competitiveness can quickly become about approval seeking, because how you feel about yourself is being affected by something that's outside of you. It's dependent on your ranking among others. But if you still think you're never affected by approval, well, I got the ultimate test right here. Sex. If you're trying to tell me that you've never looked for approval from sex, you're lying. No approval during sex is tough. It's tough. God damn, you didn't respond at all. You didn't even feel anything. Nothing? You got nothing to say? Jesus Christ. Nothing at all? Oh man, oh my God. I gotta fix this. What do I do? How do I get somebody to feel something? She felt nothing. To feel nothing means I'm doing nothing. Fuck me. My sex is horrible. I need somebody to tell me I did something. I'm just poking around down there. I ain't ain't doing a goddamn thing. Confidence shattered. Out here with your head low every fucking day. Constantly texting the same question. So you trying to tell me it wasn't nothing? Doing a bunch of hums. Huh? You don't want to be the person. Huh? What you say? This is where we get to the downside of the approval monster. How it really works in all the ways it messes up your life. If the monster is in you, when you don't see the signs of approval you're looking for, there's a real consequence to not getting it. It messes with your head. When you get approval, you go home happy. When you don't get approval, you go home unhappy. You're racked with self-doubt. You're constantly second-guessing what you do. It makes you question your whole existence, your worth and your value. Nothing is ever good enough. Why does that happen? Well, because you're putting your worth and esteem into other people's hands. You give your power away. You give your happiness away. You're basically saying, here's my happiness. You get to control it by turning your thumb up or down. We're social animals. We crave social acceptance, but when the approval monster takes it too far, we build our entire self-identity on other people's approval or disapproval. And then we're nothing without it. Nothing. When your mind is set up like this, you're standing on very shaky ground. Let's say you're an artist and you put something out online. You might feel compelled to start reading the comments. The first few, well, they might sing your praises. And you cry tears of joy, thinking you're finally seen and accepted. And then you scroll down to see another one that tears you apart. And suddenly you're crying tears of pain. You're devastated. You go from hitting an absolute high to rock bottom in a moment. That one negative might make you spin out for weeks. You ignore all the positive and only take on the negative. Because the approval monster is making you rely on others to inform your own opinion of yourself. Everybody experiences some version of this. I mean, once your head hits the pillow at night, you might start mentally replaying conversations and moments from the day, overanalyzing people's facial expressions or the way they responded to you, trying to find reasons why you look like a fool. Did I come across like an asshole when I said that? Damn, I might have offended them. I bet they hate me. They probably think I'm so lame and fake. Shit, you might even do this with events that happened 5 or 10 years ago. You're lying there alone in the dark, cringing with embarrassment over the smallest thing that happened when you were an entirely different person. Somewhere along the way, an awkward date or a mistake at work became a ghost that can now haunt you for the rest of your life. This is what it looks like to be exposed to the approval monster's dangerous, volatile side. I'm gonna come out and say it. There's something I haven't told you yet about the approval monster. I just didn't want to freak you out and let things get too weird too fast. But the approval monster, well, it has 2 heads. That's right. I said it. It has 2 heads. Just be thankful that's the only one of these monsters that does. Now, it's got one head that plays nice. Talks all sweet. Acting like it's your best friend. You can hear it when somebody gives you a compliment. And the voice inside you says, hell yeah, see? You're the best. We're killing it. They love you, man. But then there's the second head, which is downright mean and nasty. When the monster doesn't get approval, or people straight up disapprove, the second head wakes up and goes, whoa, hold on. Wait a minute. Nobody said anything about this. Or they didn't like it? How the fuck should we feel about that? Should we be breaking some shit right now? And do I suck? Or do they suck? Huh? That's the big question. Do they suck? It's gotta be one of the two. And somebody is gonna feel my wrath. Now the second head is reared up and starts roaring, wanting to tear shit down. It wants to attack. And there are only 2 targets for that attack. It's either other people or you. When it launches an outward attack, it makes you lash out. You get mad at people for not appreciating you or recognizing you because you feel like you deserve it. So you start shit talking. When it attacks you, it turns that shit talking back onto you, which makes you feel beat down and depressed. It feels like your whole world falls apart. That's when you fall into a tailspin of self-doubt, questioning your decisions or your talent, saying, oh my God, what am I doing? I suck, I'm terrible. Nobody likes me. Nobody out here is giving me a sign. I must be doing something wrong. Almost any actor will know what it feels like to have the approval monster turn on you. Because going out for auditions is one of the toughest things that you can do. You walk into a room and you work your heart out in front of a panel of judges who stay completely silent the whole time. Then when you're done giving it your all, they just pause and say, okay, thank you, Mr. Hart. Next. The easiest thing to do is walk out and tell yourself, Jesus, that was shit. And why? Why do you think it was shit? Because nobody said anything when you left? Zero acknowledgement? I mean, they didn't say it was good, so how could it be? And then you might do 30 or 50 or 100 more auditions like that. And you start thinking, why am I even in this business? Why the fuck am I doing this? Why am I doing it? I mean, I'm obviously not good. I'm a shitty actor. Everything I do is shit. Even when I was auditioning, I remember coming out and I would call my manager 30 times. Hey, Dave. Hey, man, they call you back? Did you hear anything? I mean, they gotta give me something. I'm dying out here. You don't got no information? Hey. With no signs of approval in sight, my monster was turning on me. I know that inward attack very well. But I also know the outward kind very well, too. My approval monster is a master at going back and forth. It would never miss an opportunity to talk shit. Never. Now, I'll admit early on, when I didn't get the reviews that I thought I deserved from movies or comedy specials or whatever, there was a little bit of irritation and attitude. If the approval monster didn't make me doubt whatever I did, then I assumed that just because I didn't get an Oscar for a movie, then that means the movie must have been bad. Or I must have done a bad job. I mean, shit. It would make me want to defend it, right? It would spit fire and say, what the fuck is this about? We just did this fucking movie and nobody says shit to us about how good this movie is? Oh, they must all be stupid. These people gotta be idiots not to give us our goddamn praise for all the work that we just did. You need to go say something about this. You got to. You need to go say something about this shit here because it's unnecessary and it's not fucking good and it's not cool. You see how good you was in that bitch? Good as fuck in that movie. They got the nerve to not say something. You need to let them have it. Get on social media, tweet something like, fuck y'all. Y'all don't know shit. That'll do it. That'll show them how we feel. Send out a big fuck y'all. That's what I would do with a fire sign afterwards. And put the purple emoji after that. Fuck y'all, fire, dick. Yeah. Let them feel that. You know when the approval monster say something like that, it started to make sense after a while. So you gotta question it. You sure about that approval monster? Fuck y'all, fire, then the purple dick. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds like you're right. You goddamn right, I'm sure, and I know I'm right. You need to speak out on this. You need to call these fools out, man. And suddenly, I want to be on blast. Throwing a tantrum about how nobody said shit to me about Ride Along 2. How Ride Along 2 is good. None of y'all said anything. Y'all some fucking haters. You wouldn't believe how insane the production was. Meanwhile, the approval monster is rubbing his hands together in the background. Hell yeah, tell him, Kev. Lay that shit out. There you go, tell him. Tell him how much you spent. Yeah, make him see how amazing you are, Kev. Do it. These outbursts can happen over the simplest things. You might have spent 4 hours in the kitchen cooking dinner for your family. And when everybody sits down to devour your hard work, you don't get a single thank you. Not a peep. Nobody says, oh wow, this is delicious. How did you do that? Man, you know what? I appreciate you taking so much time out of your day for this. As you're sitting there, the approval monster starts fuming, pacing around like a caged Wolverine. Are you kidding me? Nobody said a goddamn word about your motherfucking salad dressing. You made that shit from scratch, man. Even sprung for the organic ingredients. You know how much that shit cost you? Spending money on organic shit, and they got the nerve not to say nothing. Fuck them. People don't deserve your goddamn cooking. You should send out a fuck you. Say fuck y'all. Send out the fire sign and the purple emoji. Fuck you, fire dick. Ain't cooking for y'all no more. All it takes is somebody to ask you to pass the carrots. And it sends you over the edge. Because the approval monster, he's in your ear. Somebody pass you the carrots. Now you know what you want to do? You want to break down crying or blow a gasket and start shouting out how nobody appreciates you. Now you telling your Uncle Carl why his life is a joke. He ain't did nothing to nobody. You attacking Carl. Fuck you, Carl. You ain't got no degree. Stupid ass. Come over here every year and eat. You can't spell, bitch. Oh, no. You done attack Uncle Carl. Carl ain't had a degree. Everybody knows that. We all know Uncle Carl's struggle when it comes to reading. You ain't got to call it out, though. But you on a rampage. Because the approval monster is in your goddamn head. Oh, because nobody complimented you on your fucking cooking. Well, the place where this fragile sensitivity matters most is how it affects the stability of your path in life. When it comes to my career, the approval monster would make me constantly bang my head against the wall like this, bouncing between highs and lows, doubt and anger. And I can see why. In the entertainment business, I've been groomed to receive approval and acceptance. The approval monster had a reason for rearing his head. The reason why is because we fall in love with receiving nothing but the positive. It all started in my stand-up career. In the craft of comedy, when I get on stage, people clap. People cheer. I'm getting immediate approval, which creates instant gratification. I mean, you can get addicted to that. I know I've been addicted to that. I can't get off stage and not hear the crowd's response. I can't. That's what makes doing stand-up such a strange thing. Because it's almost completely based on approval. Is a joke funny if nobody laughs or applauds? If there's dead silence, the presence or lack of that approval guides the entire enterprise. Whatever gets laughter, you do more of. And whatever bombs, you do less of. You're up there as the biggest approval seeker in the world. Now, I'm not trying to take away from the musicians. Or at concerts, you can play your song and everybody might applaud at the end. But it can easily be out of a reflex and courtesy. In comedy, well, you can't fake laughs. They either happen or they don't. It's a brutally honest reaction. So when you walk off stage, you can be almost 100% sure whether or not it truly went well. And if I don't get the proof that you had a good time, well, that's a problem. How can I not think, oh shit, this is a bad situation right here? Nobody liked my set. Oh my God, what if this is game over? This is why it became very easy to let the approval monster mess with my head, because it had been so involved in the process of building my career. As I went on, I was always looking for that response, the applause, the instant feedback. And when the response shifted and wasn't positive, or I didn't get what I felt I deserved, well, then that became a problem for me. Wanting to be liked, loved, adored, admired, it was tough. I couldn't process how someone could not like me or what I was doing. Fortunately, when this problem came up in the beginning, I was quickly able to check myself so I didn't spiral out of control. When I heard myself start to question my work, I could stop and say, shit, wait a minute. Now just wait a minute. I thought I was happy with what I just did. I thought it was good. Now that it's being discussed by other people, and they're saying it wasn't, well, does that mean I shouldn't be happy with anything I do unless someone says I should? I don't know about this, Kevin. If I didn't catch that, that meant that everything I did could be batted back in my face. If anything that I thought was great, if there was somebody who disapproved and said it was bad, I could end up feeling completely defeated in what I thought was my talent and my craft. I could end up being completely disappointed with myself as a person. This is where approval can be a dangerous force in my life. Because I know every story isn't going to hit. Every joke isn't going to be funny. Every movie isn't going to be bigger than the one before. So I have to be okay with following what I feel is my artistic expression within my talents. Otherwise, I'd have quit long before anybody had ever heard of me. And that would mean that I got to let other people determine my direction in life, which would be a tragic end. See, this is the ultimate worst consequence of the approval monster. This is where it all leads. By giving your power away. By needing people to tell you that you're on the right track and that you're doing it all right. Yeah, sure, you end up doing dumb shit. But you also end up throwing your whole life away in the process. While the approval monster is holding your happiness hostage, waiting for the ransom of popular opinion before it lets go a little bit, it's got you trapped in a cage. You never get to express yourself and show who you are. You fall off your path and stop pursuing what you really want to. Because you're so scared of being disliked on your way to get to where you're going. You're afraid to stand out and do what's in your heart just because some people won't like it. And the result is never really getting anywhere. At least not anywhere worth going. After everything I've been through, one of the biggest things I've come to understand is this. Not everybody is going to like you. Not everybody is going to be a fan. Or approve. Or think what you're doing is dope. There are many kinds of acceptance. There's acceptance from your family, from your peers, from strangers in a public space. There's so many different levels of it. And you can't get it all. You might want it all because you feel like you deserve it all. But you never will. It's impossible to please everybody. By letting the approval monster hold on to that unrealistic expectation, you're only setting yourself up for a lifetime of struggle. When that fact finally sinks in, everything just gets a lot better. And it got so much better for me when I grew accustomed to receiving the good and the bad. When I got accustomed to not feeling like I needed to hear or see praise. Early on, when I saw my achievements constantly being ignored and other people were getting pats on the back, I'm not proud to say it, but my honest reaction was, man, why don't they say I'm the #1 box office comedy draw in the world? And I have been for X amount of time. Why don't they start these new articles off with, Kevin Hart does it again? But now, rather than getting salty about some ego-driven thing, I can laugh about it and go, it's all good, it is what it is. This was a real moment for me. The monster almost beat me. But I realized I had the power to no longer let this monster win. I didn't need to let it push me into a position of anger for not getting what I thought I deserved. Because I was already getting exactly what I deserved. I was getting rewards and a form of success for all my hard work. So what else am I looking for? Why do I need someone else to tell me what I already know? Why do you need that? Why are you looking for that? Am I creating a problem? I think I am. Because I'm not in a position where I should be upset. I'm in a position where I should be overjoyed with myself and the hard work I've put in and the results that I've seen from it. For me, that's as good as it gets. That's special. And that applies just as much to my work in the kitchen as it does in my career. I got a pop quiz for you. Don't worry, there are only 2 questions, but they're big ones. So I really want you to stop and think about this. Because this is the first step in reducing the approval monster's influence on you. The first is, as you go about living your life, making your plans and choices, whose approval are you seeking? Who are you trying to make proud? Who are you looking for pats on the back from? Who are you hoping will look at what you've done, or who you are and say, wow, amazing, you're great, good job, good for you? Is it your family, your spouse, your boss, your coworkers, your friends, your fans, and followers? By recognizing where your approval monster looks for approval, you then know where you need to keep a close eye. Here's the second question. When you've looked for approval in the past but didn't get it, what were the consequences? How did it affect you? What was your reaction? Because it always causes a reaction. Was it returning the car or the watch that you thought was going to be cool? Man, nobody's saying shit about this car. Fuck it, you know what, I'm taking it back. I'm going to go out, I'm going to buy an even nicer one than everybody else has. But then that nicer car might have been one that you couldn't afford, and you put yourself in debt to get it. Or, how about when you didn't hear, I love you? Or you thought you heard something that sounded like the opposite. It just hurt you so much. Did you go and almost ruin that relationship? Did you smash your car window? Throw clothes out the window? What did you do? As you grow up, you get to reflect and have these conversations with yourself. And I want you to find the answers. Because when you do, that means that you're understanding how your approval monster works. And that puts you one giant step closer to living a freer life. One that's not so dependent on what other people think. There are very few things that result in immediate approval, which creates its own set of problems. One of them is live performances. Another is high-level sports. When you're a great player, you are the star of a team. There's a massive amount of approval that comes with your performance during a game. You've got announcers going, wow, they hit this many home runs, scored this many baskets, had this many touchdowns, swam 20 laps in the fastest time ever. But everything else in life can be hit or miss with the approval monster. For example, and I hate to say it, but you're not going to get approval as a parent. You're not. Especially if you're a single parent, because there's nobody seeing your daily efforts. You need the strength within yourself to assume you're doing a good job and you're making the right choices. Nobody's coming to your house in the morning to say, good job, you did it. Good for you. Way to go, parents. Now here's your gold medal. Least of all your own kid. I mean, they may go through a few years or decades where all they do is disapprove of you, even though you've dedicated years of your life to providing for them and being the best parent you can be. School is another tough one. There's approval built into everything. You have your so-called good students and bad students. Everything you do is graded. And depending on where you're from, if you didn't go to college, or if you dropped out and didn't finish, sometimes you might get put down for that decision. Because of the way that the approval world is set up. It's set up to make people who don't go to college feel like they can't succeed in life. The common belief is that after you graduate, it's time to move on to the real world. You find a good job, and then you'll be able to take care of yourself. If you don't go to college or you drop out, well, what are you going to do with your life? That's a real attitude that a lot of people have. If all those who didn't go to college took on the lack of approval for their decision, would most of them be where they are now as adults? And how many of those people still found a way? Just because I wasn't the valedictorian or the class president, does that mean that I'm not capable of doing anything worthwhile? Just because I only passed high school at the middle level with C's all the way out, does that mean that I shouldn't be happy with the fact that I graduated? Should I have to go back again because I didn't get the highest level of approval? I'm not saying this to warrant any young person's decision not to go to school. By all means, education is key. It is important. All I'm trying to show you is how depending on a high level of approval and trying to fit in can cause you to question your life. Because if you're going against the grain of what everybody else is doing, but that's what you truly want to do, then you'll have to do it without approval. Your parents might want you to be a lawyer, but you want to be a magician. Well, they won't necessarily approve of what you're doing. You can decide to do it anyway. And if you take that step toward becoming a magician, you're already stepping into a mindset that says, I'm going to be okay whether you like this or not, because this is what I want. This is who I am. This is the power and freedom I'm hoping you find in whatever you do. Because if the approval monster is waiting on praise, you're in for a very hard ride. And your time on this planet will be a lot harder and a lot less fun than it could be.